Peace, peace, everyone. It's your girl Sequoia Blue back in here with another episode. Today we have a special guest today. Her name is Naranjan, and she is a spiritual guide. So we're gonna dive into that because a lot of times we need a spiritual guide and not always, the therapist. Because nowadays you get go to see a therapist if you have issues, but now it's like sometimes you need a spiritual guide because sometimes the therapist doesn't really understand the spiritual aspect. They might get the mental aspect of, hey, you might need to go and see a get take some medicine or ADHD stuff. But when it comes down to like the soul, it's some stuff that's that has to be digged into a deeper meaning.
Yeah.
So explain your journey. Like, what made you become a spiritual mentor?
Well, first I want to say thank you for having me, Sequoia, on your show. I'm excited to delve into this conversation with you. So thank you.
You're welcome.
And your question was, what made me get into this journey? I've always had this very intuitive component of myself, especially from the lens of being curious of what's on the other side of the veil. When people pass over, where do they go? What happens? And these infamous gods that we have been praying to as a child and in religion. Who are they? Where are they? What are they doing? So these were all big questions that I had, and I've had a natural sense of curiosity about what is on the other side. And that slowly evolved even further as we go through challenges. We all go through challenges in life. That's what we're here to get through. Yet, my way of navigating those challenges were very much in the space of what's causing these challenges to present themselves and how can I get through them using the spiritual lens, using the alchemy, the esoteric, the astrology, and perhaps also the Eastern components of not belief systems, but philosophies and principles. So I
Mm.
really leaned into that from a very young age. And it's just grown and rippled from there onwards. And the more I learned about myself, the more it really put me in a space of this is what I'm here to offer for other people who want to take this courageous journey. So I
I love
guide them
that.
through it. Mhm.
I love that. I mean, that's important because, me going through my spiritual journey when I went through it, when I went to the University of Metaphysics and I learned about myself and about like spirituality, it's important to be able to tap into yourself and to see where you're at. And I was like, I had just, to learn that it was like an aha moment. And I was like, a lot of people need to learn this. So I like that you are doing this work. Do you believe in ayahuasca, like bringing out certain, I guess you could say certain traumas or getting rid of, I think they say getting rid of traumas and stuff like
Mhm.
that, and bringing you a new leaf on life. And do you think? Because I also believe you should have a shaman with you when you're doing,
Right.
ayahuasca. So, what is your take on ayahuasca?
If that's what individual needs to tap into their soul and reconnect with something greater than the material world that we live in, then so be it. I'm
Mm.
not here to judge or challenge anybody on their route of how they get to a deeper compartment of themselves and tap into that soul and heal some of the trauma and the past, be it from themselves or from their ancestors. How they go about it, that's entirely up to you. It's a personal story, it's a personal journey. But is it a path that I have taken and I guide individuals on? No, it isn't. I've not been drawn through that process. I've not been led. There's nothing that um, takes me down that path to want to engage in ayahuasca or even share it with others. Because I'm a firm believer of I guide individuals, my clients and individuals on my path through the process that I have taken. I've not done ayahuasca. I have no intentions of it. There's no desire for me to do it because I feel I can connect with myself outside of that.
Mm. I like that. I like that. And like what is like, I would say, what are some of the services that you offer to your clients?
I support them in peeling back the layers of the emotional clutter that we all come in with, that we get conditioned with. Every single person has it. It's
Mm,
part of the conditioning of being a child and going through childhood and adolescence. It's part of the process. So I support
wow.
individuals on that process of peeling back those layers on a very one on one process, but I have some group programs as well. But right now, I feel individuals need more one on one focused attention, and
Yeah.
that's where I'm leaning into because being because everybody's journey is very different and everybody's
Yes.
challenge and how they process it and go through it is very different. And I know when we do it on a one-on-one, that augmentation is very customized for individuals, and that's where I feel my gifts shine the most potentially at this moment, even though I have done group work before. But this is where I'm being led to do, let's put it that way.
Ashe, I love that. And
Mhm.
what makes you different from other spiritual coaches, leaders? Like, what's something different?
I start with the soul.
Mm,
I start with the soul. We go through a process of expanding the consciousness and expanding your own intuition to harness all of those pieces so you can really stand in your own truth and power for what you want out of life, not from the ego self, but from the
mm.
soul self. So I start from the root cause, which is the soul.
I love that. Yeah, because the ego means edging God out, and we have to learn how to tap into our higher self. And it took me a long time to learn that because I was ego driven in my 20s, and then I was like, now where I'm at now, it's like, okay, I can like actually think things through and tap into my higher self and get these answers. And it'd be odd because I'll talk to my higher self, and then I might watch a show and I'll get the answer, or someone might call me and give me the answer. And I'm like, oh snap. And I was like, this is amazing. So lately, that's what's been happening, and I'm like, man, everybody needs to tap into this. But at times, it's like a ebb and flow, they would say, because at times I'm like, oh, the bad days, but then and you don't really get to tap in. But I try to stay on the high frequency so I can continue to tap in, and I think
Good
that's
job.
important is staying on that high frequency, but knowing when you're off that frequency is the key.
Mhm.
Because if you don't know when
Mhm.
you're off, then how are you gonna fix it? So I like that,
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
someone we need to come to you to say, okay, I'm off. Like, where am I at with like what's going on? And
Mhm.
especially, if they're dealing with grief, and that's one thing I want to talk to you about because a lot of people, it's all these things that's going on, COVID, cancer, all this stuff. People are still dying from COVID. I mean, there's so much going on. And like people are getting depressed and they get stuck in this low vibration and they cannot get out. Like, I mean, what do you recommend for people that are dealing with grief right now?
Be kind to yourself, be gentle with yourself, but also recognize when you need support.
Mm, I like
Yes,
that.
we're all individuals and we all feel like we're in control of life and we can do what we want to do. But recognize when you need support, when you need that hand, when you need that soft place to land so you can unravel some of this stuff that's been put down and suppressed on you, especially over the last 2 to 3 years. And we all have this sense of feeling that we got to have our stuff together. How can you not
Mm,
have your stuff together?
yeah, I like
Well,
that.
sometimes we don't, and we need some help.
Yeah, we don't, and we need some help. I totally agree on that.
Absolutely.
And what do you think about? I was trying to remember the word, but now I just can't remember because had a long day at work, and I'm like trying to remember what I was gonna say, and now it totally just went through my mind. But
Okay.
um, what? Let's see. How has work changed you as a person? Like, has it fulfilled you even more? Because sometimes I notice when you're doing something you like to do rather than a job you don't want to do. you feel more fulfilled in life. Like you kind of got this euphoric vibe, even if things go south. But it's like because you're doing what you want to do, you know,
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
feel like you changed. It's helping your life.
Absolutely. It's a gift. It's an honor that I get to do the work that I get to do
Amen. I like that. And
because it's a choice.
it's a choice, yes. And you get to do, and the thing is you get to do something you like to do every day. Because I see, I see a lot of people and they really aren't liking what they do. And that can also bring down your vibration. So I think it is important to go after something that's fulfilling because helping others, it fulfills you too. Like I feel like it makes you feel good to say, "Hey, you just changed my life. I didn't look at it this way and now I look at it this way," you know?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I think that's important.
Yeah.
And what skills, tools, and talents and qualities qualify you to guide others?
My own experiences, I shared earlier that my recommendations, insights, wisdom, and tools that I offer for other individuals, be it my clients or presentations and speaks that I do, are all mechanisms that I have gone through myself.
Mm,
So my own healing journey has been over 20 years, very
wow.
hands on, very intense, and very purposeful. And I'm a true believer that in order for me to guide any individual on the process of healing, I would have had to do my work. Has my work completely finished? Absolutely not. But none of us have.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we wouldn't be here.
Hmm.
But yet, it's the marker of perhaps the influences of the outside world are not going to be as difficult and as hard and as heavy for me because I've cleared out much of that emotional clutter, as I referenced earlier. And once that is clear, then you have a much easier connection to your soul and gain that wisdom and awareness. So for me, it's been very much a lot of my life experiences and challenges that I've witnessed and experienced, but also in that process got to a place of an understanding and a surrendering of this is what I'm here to do.
Mm, I like that. Amen. I love it. So, what would you say to your 18-year-old self?
I would say to her, follow your intuition. Yes, enjoy life and all that this world of circus that we live in brings. Enjoy it. But don't forget to listen to the whispers of your intuition and your soul.
Yes, I love that. So, I love that because that's true. You got to listen to yourself. But, like a lot of times people say, well, I don't know what myself is saying. So I think that just, like I said, that takes getting with a spiritual mentor, everybody. Go ahead and get with Narajan and talk to her, and she can help you tap in so you can learn. Because I'm telling you, it changed my life, and it's an amazing feeling. Um, so before we wrap everything up, I just wanted to talk about law of attraction. So,
Mm-hmm.
do you believe in law of attraction?
Well, let's break down what law of attraction is and what any of these laws are, because there's probably over 20 or 30 different laws that we have on the universe, on this
Mm,
planet. But
yeah,
somehow the traction and the attention is the law of attraction. That's called more, it's
yeah.
called more traction, right? But do I believe in it? Yes, I do. Just as I believe in all the other laws of law of karma, law of reciprocity. Like there's so many other laws out there, but what we know for sure is everything is energy and everything vibrates.
Mm,
So the space between you and I has a vibrational frequency that we can hit on a high note or we can hit on a low note. And
yes.
how it's going to hit us is going to be indicative of how much work we have done within ourselves. So
Yes.
while we all want to attract everything into our lives of what we deem to be good, recognize that it has the other component of it, a shadow component of it. Because when that shadow component shows up, that's the bigger teller. And how you engage with it, that's going to be the bigger marker of how much work you have done on yourself.
Mm, I like that. I like that. That's true. So, like, if you want to go and you want to manifest a new car or something, but
Mm-hmm.
you're not even tapped in with yourself, you're not going to get that car. You're not even because you're not
Right,
doing the work.
right.
Because I could sit here and be like, I want this car, but then I'm thinking negative that I'll never get the car in my subconscious. And I think your subconscious definitely has to match your conscious because it's gonna throw off getting what you want. And
Mm-hmm.
that goes into the power of words. Like you just have to
Mm-hmm.
be careful what you say. And I sometimes mess up. Like I make sure I fix myself right after I mess up. It's important to do that because you're gonna sit here, you start attracting it, and you be like, "What happened?" And it might not even be tomorrow. It could be a year from now. You was like, you start thinking
Right.
like, "What did I do?" So
Yeah. Yeah. So
power words.
so to add on your component, your example of the car. So you want to manifest this car into your life. But what's the shadow self? Because we live in a world of polarity. There's a positive and then a negative. That's just the world that we live in. There's a light, there's a dark. This is how it is. We're happy, we're sad. So you're trying to manifest this car, which is, let's say, a higher frequency. What's the other side of that? The other side of that frequency is if you don't have the car, what happens? Do you start shaming yourself? Do you start guilting yourself? Do you start self sabotaging yourself and not using the right words? Do you start being mean to yourself?
Yeah.
So then, how is that benefiting you? What's the likelihood of you getting that car if you are self sabotaging yourself and there's lack of self worth within you?
Mm, that's true. Yeah, because if you already bullying yourself, somewhere in the corner, then you can write that vision board all you want or create that Canva vision board and that car is not gonna it's not gonna come,
Right,
you know.
right.
And that's something that I had to learn because I was going back and forth with myself with a lot of things. And now I'm at a point where I'm like, no, that's not true. You gotta tell yourself it's not true sometimes. Just say no. You gotta talk to yourself. And
Yeah,
and that's what a lot of people have to learn. It's an ongoing journey, it's forever. But
that's right.
if you can just
That's
get
right.
there, that's a good start. Um,
But it's also going into that space of, do I feel worthy of a car? So the person who is now trying to manifest a car, if the car actually shows up, what are they? Are they going to be like, really? It's mine? Are they going to believe it or not? Because if they don't
ooh.
believe it, then they're not really worthy of it.
Ooh, that's true. That's true. Because then it's like, oh, I can't believe I got this job. And then you start thinking about imposter syndrome and all that, because that's a
Right.
big word right now. We keep seeing
That's
imposter
right.
syndrome.
Yeah.
And it's like, I was like, no, I'm not going to claim that word, because that's just not, it's going to bring me down, my frequency down. And I'm going to start thinking things I shouldn't think about.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think people say that word a lot, but I don't really think people should say that word. Just say that you're learning, you're getting there, and that you are supposed to be there because you're there. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And do the
Mm-hmm.
best you can with where you're at. And if you realize it's not for you, then just get out of there.
Well, I'm a great believer that every single thing that happens in our lives that we choose to engage with, a word, a thought, or an action, be it you get a job that you don't like, everything happens for a reason. And it's
Mm,
our job as individuals to reconnect with our soul and learn, why did that actually happen? It could be for something great or it could be for something not so great.
mm,
And unravel that feeling, that understanding, and the reason of why that showed up, rather than saying shiny object syndrome. Don't like it, I'm going to bury it. Let me look over there, it's way more lighter. No.
ooh. That is so true. Because you
Mm-hmm.
know what? I a lot of things like my journey is like, I sit here and be like, why did this happen? Why did this relationship happen? Why did this job happen? But then I look back and it brought me here. I was like,
Right.
wait, maybe I'm supposed to be here in some way. And I think sometimes I think what a lot of depression come from people is that they feel like, well, I'm not where I want to be, or and it's like, well, you're where you're supposed to be, really. I mean, you can make a change, but you're
Yes.
still it's some type of intrinsic pull that's pulling you at this thing very at this very moment. And it's
Hmm.
funny that you said that because you made me think about this podcast I did called Time, Life, and Self Awareness, because it was like I was talking about Ashton Kutcher movie called it was an old Ashton Kutcher movie, and I can't even remember the name of it now. But
Mm.
basically, he goes back in time to try to change his future. So he keeps going back in time trying to
Mm.
make it better. It never got better. So he'll go back in time, his friend died, or he'll go back in time, somebody lost their leg. He go back in
Right.
time, his girlfriend with another man. It never works. And I said, I was like, it's like I had an aha moment. Like I don't
Hmm.
I don't want to go back in time because something's gonna change, and I'm still not gonna like something. So it's
Mm.
like that's why it confirms more so that we are where we're supposed to be.
Hmm.
Even if somebody, your family might think you're not, like, because you get people around
Right.
you try to say, oh, well, you ain't doing what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be doing this, and that's what you always do. Well,
Right.
maybe my journey was go this way too, because maybe
Yeah.
this person was able to go the straight and narrow road, but this
Yeah.
person has to go a few more turns, and maybe it was supposed to help that person, you
Hmm.
know. And so I think I like that you said that, because that's such a big topic right now. People always get so upset about, and I have to remind myself daily, like, hey, you're going where you're supposed to go, Sequoia, and
That's true.
even if you get even when I get anxious, but that's just the reality of it, and I think if people can I guess warm up to that, I think that their life would be better and more
Yeah.
fulfilling, and they can focus on getting to where they want to be, you know.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
so in honor of Thanksgiving, because I mean not Thanksgiving, look, I said Thanksgiving. I guess I'm ready for some turkey again.
Yeah.
Um, Valentine's Day is coming up, and a lot of people are single. And what do you say to some people that feel like the dating apps aren't working for me, and I'm not getting a good connection with people, people that are serious anyway about finding someone?
Mhm.
They're not getting a connection. They feel lost. Some people are practicing something called sologamy or sologamy, and they're feeling like, I don't want to be with no one, some women are saying, because they're so tired of everything
Mhm.
that's going on. Do you have any like guidance for some of these ladies and men?
Fill your own cup. What we know for sure is codependent relationships don't work.
Mm.
And we can say till, as we say in England, till the cows come home, that we're independent, we're strong, we're in control, we're making our own money, we're doing all of these things. But if you can sit with your own heart and feel the fullness of your own heart in its entirety for yourself, then you're in a position to say, yes, I love myself completely and I feel complete and whole. That if somebody is aligned with you, then you may entertain that.
I like that. I like that. I like that because sometimes it's like, I think for me, like I kind of got off the dating apps and I'm just focusing on just living. Like I said, I just want to
Mhm.
live. I was in relationships all my 20s. I said I want to live now, and I've been single for 7 years. And some people are
Mhm.
like, "Oh, are you gonna?" I don't know I don't know if I'm comfortable, but I just feel I'm okay right now. I'm not,
Yeah,
if somebody came to me and they were right, I'm not knocking them. I would still talk to him, but
sure.
at this time, I'm not looking right
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
And I think that it's okay for women to say that, that some women aren't looking, but they're open, and I think that's something to keep in mind for Valentine's Day coming up, for people that might feel sad that they don't have a date or something like that. Just know that that person can still come if you want them to come. And if you're okay being alone, then you can be alone too. Like, there's no rules to this thing called life. Like, I used to think there was rules, like, oh, you got to be with somebody, you got to be married and get a picket fence, and
mhm,
I was
mhm,
like, that's not what I want.
mhm.
And especially for someone being a spiritual person like me and want to feel fulfilled, I don't know what I might do. I might go get on a boat or something and travel the world for a year. I have no kids, I don't know. So
Yeah,
those
yeah,
are things that I'm not living that, traditional lifestyle. And that's why,
Hmm.
hence the podcast, the, the
Hmm.
trailblazers, the
Right.
entrepreneurs, the people that are breaking the norm. And that's
Yes.
important, to me. So we can change, we can kind of create change because it starts with us.
Always.
So,
Always. And just to add to your point there, the bigger question for somebody who is maybe a little upset or down on themselves because they don't have a date for Valentine's Day, ask yourself the question, what is it you are really seeking from another human being? What is that yearning? What is that desire? What is that within you that's calling for, I need to find this in a mate? And as
ooh.
you come up with those answers, ask how you can give those pieces to yourself.
Oh, that was right on. That was right on. And I think that's that's a good thought here because that's why I feel like I'm giving what I would want,
That's
from
right.
him to myself. So that's why I'm so like content. I'm chilling because
Hmm.
I'm giving myself that love,
That's
because
right.
I love myself first, and I make myself a meal. I'll take myself out because I'm my own best friend first. And I
Yeah.
think and I'm happy I got there because I see so many people sad when they alone, like in general, without any friends, nothing. I'm like, but I'm my own best friend. I'm
That's
gonna
right.
know myself more. And I think that's what I wanted to spread
Yeah.
today is let people know, like, ladies and men know that you're your own best friend first. And guess what? That person's gonna come. And I don't see anything wrong with dating apps. I'm not knocking it because a lot of people they're not at the club anymore and stuff like that. People are
Mhm.
finding different ways. And I do feel like there's some type of spiritual
Oops.
synergy. So oh, you're fine. I do feel like there's some type
Sorry.
of spiritual synergy out there. No, you're fine. I done forgot my words earlier, so you good. It's Friday. Whoop whoop. We made it through the week. Um, time for the weekend for the ice cream. Um,
Ice cream.
but yeah, yeah. Look, I've been on this workout
Yeah.
plan and everything, so I'm just keeping, you know, getting tight here,
Yeah.
trying to get a 4 pack. But
Good for you.
yeah, because I grew up really skinny and stuff, and when I had, because I was diagnosed with endometriosis when I was 20, so
Ah,
I had to take this pill recently and made me gain a little bit of weight. And even though people still see me as small, like I'm used to being
right.
so much tinier,
Hmm.
and that's another thing too, like about weight, because a lot of people are going through depression from that, like just being upset about their weight, getting these BBLs and all that, and people are still not happy after that, and that just goes back to going within yourself, like why are you really
Hmm.
getting the BBL? Why are you really getting your
Hmm.
face lifted or
Right.
reconstructed? I was
Right.
like, because I could feel energies. I'm an empath.
Uh-huh.
So I can feel it through the phone. I don't even have to know the person. I'm like,
Yes.
this person is not happy with this. And they'll
Yeah.
tell you, some won't, but it's
Yeah.
it's just deep. It's like, what is the reason? Like, sometime, but
Mm,
and I don't knock anybody for doing it. I just feel like if you do it and you're still not happy, I think that's sad. That's pretty sad.
right. But it does, like I said, every single thing that shows up in our life will show up for a reason to showcase how much self-love do we really have. Or are we sitting there sabotaging ourselves? Are we playing the imposter syndrome game? Or what does that look like? Because everything is going to turn to, do I value have a greater sense of self-worth of who I am before I step into a union with somebody else, or before I step into an engagement, a job, a partnership, whatever that looks like. Before I engage with that, where am I? Am I completely whole?
Mm, I like that. That's where it goes back to, am I completely whole before I get into that situation, whatever that may
Yeah.
be. Man, you're a real one. I love it. You're very
Ah,
spiritually in tune. I can feel it. And
good.
I'm definitely, we need to probably talk again. I'm gonna try to book a session
Me
with
too.
you myself. I keep trying to get a session, but Jesus, I mean, it's been
Life
crazy. I
happens.
think COVID's given me tiredness. So yeah, so
Mm,
that's another thing. The long COVID, it's you got to be careful out here. Everybody, just drink, take your vitamins, exercise when you can, because yeah, it makes people tired. So,
sure.
what's a saying or quote that you go by?
Um, Ironically, I have a quote here, and it's not that I would necessarily go by, but I think it stands a good, yeah, it has a component that I actually work for. Think and wonder and think by Dr. Seuss.
I like that.
Yeah.
That remind me of this quote that I seen a girl say one time on YouTube that uh what was it? The cat. It said something about the cat. It said the cat. What was it? What's the saying about the cat that was curious and then he got in trouble? Um,
Oh,
but the
um,
being curious freed the cat basically. So it didn't trap the cat. It freed
yes.
the cat. And so when you
Like,
said that, it made me think about that because it's wondering. You're wondering, and you open that portal of that curiosity.
that's
So
right.
actually, you freed the cat. Got freed. So I love it.
Right.
Um,
Yes. Yes.
and so yeah, tell people where to book you at, get your books, everything.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'd invite anybody who's interested in even a consult to see if I'm the right person to support them on their journey at brightshininglight.com. And I do offer a free consult. I do have a few downloads as well on my website, but I'm also available through most of the social media pieces, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. But Bright Shining Light is the spot. And also a podcast plug, if I may,
Oh
of
yeah,
Master of Your Crafts, which is available on all places where you find podcasts. And yeah, that's where that's where Sequoia and I actually met. So we have a
yes,
conversation there going on there too, which will be released. Yeah,
yeah. That was a yeah. She's a great podcaster. Please subscribe, check her out, support us indie podcasters because we are genuinely trying to help change the world.
absolutely,
And so support
absolutely,
us and follow and yes, and I just want to thank you for coming
absolutely.
on here. And I didn't get
Thank
a
you
chance
for
to say
having
my
me.
quote yet because in the beginning I was
Yes.
supposed to say my quote. So my quote is this. I made this up myself. So it is I decided to help myself first so then God can help me.
Mm.
Yes,
Very
because
good. Very good.
yes,
Need a
because you
couple of
can't
snaps on that.
yes. That's important. And that's the message I want to spread out because I hear people say, I'm going to pray, but they don't
Mm,
put any action in. We got to put some action in, rather it's getting your
right.
certs, rather it's, I don't know, going on the dating app to find love or getting some help for your mental, going to Naranjan to help you with your mental. We have to do steps. We can't pray everything away. We just can't.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
I'm going to leave
Well
with
said.
that. And yeah, go ahead, support Narajan. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in and supporting me. Please subscribe, share the word, and peace. Stay healthy out here because it's crazy, and keep your mind on a swivel.